Now that Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is out in theaters around the world, a lot of fans have been wondering and are very curious about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, everything related to The Rise of Skywalker, now the sequel trilogy has come to an end, as well as the Skywalker saga that started back in 1977 by George Lucas, which really is a big deal because this movie, it went through a lot of different reshoots, a lot of different rewrites, you name it. Now, as we speak, Disney and Lucasfilm are going through major changes about how they're going to handle the future of the franchise and exactly how the Star Wars franchise is going to really feel to the audience, to the Star Wars community. And that's one of the big plans by Disney and Lucasfilm, is that they're really trying to change the Star Wars franchise in a very specific way. Now, on top of all of this, we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm, they're trying to really do something very special for the future on Disney Plus, with their live-action TV series, as well as a handful of other Star Wars movies that will be released throughout the 2020s. Now, on top of all of this, what's rather intriguing has all to do with the first film of the new trilogy, the new set of Star Wars films, to be released in the 2020s. Now, what's really intriguing is that it's explained that Disney and Lucasfilm are currently focused on the future of the Star Wars franchise beyond Episode 9, and are developing a roadmap for the future films to come that will take Star Wars in a different direction. It's explained that the first film of the 3 new Star Wars movies to release in the 2020s are Disney's priority as of right now. It said that currently Disney and Lucasfilm are in negotiations of using the Roman numeral format for their 3 new Star Wars movies to give fans a new mythology. It said that they are in negotiations on if the film should be called episodes in a traditional sense of how the Skywalker saga was used, or if they should stick with the new titles. Now, currently the first film is dubbed as Star Wars X, which means 10, and that they are currently in discussions with getting A-list actors on board for their new Star Wars film that will bring the franchise in a brand new direction. It's explained that Disney and Lucasfilm are looking at multiple A-list actors and actresses to join their project, and that they want to move away from unknown actors and actresses for their films. This is Disney's approach to making Star Wars similar to Marvel, since Marvel attracts A-list actors such as Robert Downey Jr. and even Samuel Jackson. Their plan to include A-list actors is also a way to raise the box office potential for these new films, and that there are negotiations being made to have Leonardo DiCaprio on board for one of the 3 new Star Wars films in the 2020s. Given that Leonardo was almost Anakin Skywalker for episodes 2 and 3 and turned down the role, this is likely where Disney got the idea from of what they actually tried to do with Leonardo DiCaprio for their new Star Wars films, and that they are currently looking for writers of the new Star Wars movies. Now, it's said that Disney are currently looking for their writers of the new Star Wars film that will take Star Wars in a different direction. Disney and Lucasfilm are also looking for some writers from the Marvel films to write one of the particular movies in the 2020s. However, the first film of the new trilogy, Disney and Lucasfilm are looking at Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to, at the very least, be advisors of the new film, where if they do not become writers of the new movie, they will have a say in the matter of how the film should be structured without question. Now, Kathleen Kennedy will also not be involved with the creative end of Star Wars X, which honestly is great. Star Wars X is also said to use next-generation CGI technology, and that Anthony Hopkins is also in the talks to portray a potential villain in the film that will kickstart a new era of Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger have been working closely together to find ways and to actually find potential roles for the film that will consist of A-list actors that will make the first film feel very attractive to fans of those actors around the world, to bring in a larger number of viewers to watch the new Star Wars movie. And that this is a big part of their plan. Also, they only want to use experienced writers and directors for their new upcoming project, and that the director will be announced in January of 2020, which is just days away from now by Lucasfilm. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, the whole A-list actor thing, let's talk about this for a couple of minutes here. Now, the A-list, the A-list actors and actresses by Disney and Lucasfilm, this is their way of creating an incentive, it seems, for not just Star Wars fans to go ahead and see a Star Wars movie, but for fans of those actors to go ahead and see this specific movie. There are people out there that want to go ahead and see Marvel's The Eternals, not just because it's Marvel's The Eternals, but because it's got Angelina Jolie. Disney realizes that this technique works and that they're going to be applying this to Star Wars. Now, do I think that this is a great idea? Maybe, maybe not. I don't really have a say in the matter. However, I do believe that a lot of their choices that they are bouncing around right now between Keanu Reeves, Kit Harington, Anthony Hopkins, Leonardo DiCaprio, and others out there that they are trying to get on board really sounds like that they're trying to bring Star Wars in a different direction. And it is a fun fact that there were two other actors that were going to portray Anakin Skywalker before Hayden Christensen. Those two actors were Leonardo DiCaprio and Paul Walker. Honestly, I will be honest, Paul Walker would have been an amazing choice, and he even talked about how Hayden Christensen got the role over him a couple of years ago. Now, with that being said, the movie dubbed Star Wars X and how they're really, bouncing around the idea of using the Roman numeral format. I, however, will say this. If the movie's going to be based in the past, it doesn't make much sense to call it Episode 10 or Star Wars X or whatever you're going to do with the Roman numeral format. I feel that if it's not a part of the Skywalker saga and it's moving away from the Skywalkers, and if it's going to be based in the past, it should not be called Star Wars X or Episode 10 for that matter. However, how it could work is that they're going to base these movies thousands of years into the future after Episode 9, where there is yet another war conflict. Now, like J.J. Abrams said, the balance of the Force is never forever. It's never set in stone. And so there will always be a conflict of some kind. So going into the future is still a big possibility. Again, like I say, they're going to be taking a lot of Star Wars Legends material, cherry-picking from the Old Republic era, as well as Knights of the Old Republic, and applying that to their films. For all we know, we are going to get the Old Republic era based in the future after Episode 9, but thousands of years that'll actually portray that era of Star Wars in a different way. That could very well be a big possibility. Again, we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm like to take ideas and change things up. That I can actually see happening is where they will take the idea of the Old Republic, instead of being it based in the past, it'll be based way ahead in the future, where maybe at that point in time, it'll actually be the Old Republic era in a different way by Disney. So, with that being said, Leonardo DiCaprio, what do I think about his potential role in a future Star Wars film and how they're looking at him and trying to get him involved? Honestly, I mean, Leonardo, it doesn't really seem like he could really fit into Star Wars. I mean, they could if they made him perhaps like maybe a Jedi or something like that and, did something different to his appearance. I guess I could see that, but I think that the ideas of them, looking at Kit Harington and Keanu Reeves and Anthony Hopkins makes more sense than anybody. Leonardo DiCaprio, however, I'm not quite sure how I really feel about that just yet. Now, apart from all of this, alright, what's really exciting about the future of Star Wars and exactly where things are going is that we are now starting fresh. These are not going to be little spin-off films. These are going to be full-blown epic movies that are going to be just as big as the Skywalker saga films. However, they're not going to be based on the Skywalker saga. This is something completely brand new that's going to be based on Star Wars Legends. And that, I think, is a big hint that we could very well be getting Darth Revan and others, because the Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary made a lot of characters canon, such as Darth Andido and Darth Trinobus and Darth Revan, and all those different characters are now canon under Disney, which is a very big deal, I will add. I mean, I did not expect Disney to make them canon this year. I expected maybe in 2020 or 2021 or something like that. But they made them canon just like that in the Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary without hesitation. And I think that's a big hint of what's to come for future Star Wars films and exactly who's going to be in those particular movies. So with that being said, guys, let me know what you think about the A-list actor format for the future films. And with that being said also, guys, if you did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.